Man, I love video games. They're so cool, right, guys?
I just can't do it. I can't take this shit no more, man.
If you're a fan of video games, chances are you've been on some sort of website talking about them, whether that be Twitter, some forum, or even YouTube comments. Everyone's a critic, and in this day and age, it's a lot easier for you to see a diverse set of opinions. Coming from personal experience, I've been better able to judge whether I'd like a game or not based on some of these people's reviews. The best thing about the volume of reviewers now is that you can find one that aligns well with a lot of your likes and dislikes. I'd say that's pretty helpful, but it's also led to what I think is one of the main problems with discourse in the community right now.
Fucking pronouns!
No, not that. There's a genuine issue here when it comes to how dissenting opinions on games are treated. A lot of people who are fans of certain games, franchises, or even genres see it as a personal attack when someone criticizes or even jokes about them. Especially when it comes to larger creators, some fans believe they just shouldn't buy, play, or review the games if it's something they may not like. They feel like it's gonna taint the review. This comes off as incredibly gatekeepy and is actively discouraging opening your horizons to new experiences. There's a sudden obsession with reviews being as objective as possible, but what that actually means is this review should align with what I believe because that would make it more objectively correct. Thank you for the heinest review, IGN. It was a tough decision considering how many loyals it infuriated, but for us normal gamers, we appreciate the integrity. What the hell does that mean? If IGN gave it a 9 despite the issues mentioned, then this game must be a real masterpiece. I'm giving this a like, just because it's finally a truthful review from IGN. So sad that IGN doesn't know how to review a game anymore. This is surprisingly a genuine, fair review out of nowhere from the notorious IGN. They're saying this was better than Days Gone? IGN is a joke. Stop being sheep and play the originals before they get remasters instead of just jumping on the latest popular thing because it's popular. Now, there's absolutely a valid reason that IGN and other reviewing websites are known for their subpar reviews. The incentive to be overly positive to games from larger companies, the variety of reviewers not being as out in the open as it should be, and the fact that reviewers race to get their opinions out quickly at the cost of quality are all factors that contribute to the poor reputation that these journalists have. However, I'm much more fascinated by the reaction that people have online to these reviews. Oftentimes, the reactions are way more intense than they need to be, and many end up attacking the reviewer for their opinion. This isn't exclusive to publications either. Individual creators are constantly at odds with fan bases, and it's pretty much always a losing battle. A lot of gamers online are not only somewhat stubborn, or maybe a little bit ignorant, but hateful. It's a self-perpetuating cycle that I think leads to these sorts of comments. Essentially, it's a good review if you agree, and you are actually hellman if you disagree. It seems like I'm forgetting something important though. What could that be? Let me tell you a story about the first time I ever disliked a video game. 2011. I'm a grubby little moron kid getting ready to play a new Sonic game. I had just played Sonic Unleashed at my grandpa's house, and I loved it to death. Safe to say, my standards were low, and my excitement was high. And so I popped in the disc, started that first level, and I didn't like it. This was a completely new feeling to me. A video game that I didn't like? Come on! I just had to play it more. But the more and more I did, the more I didn't like it. Sonic's attitude, his voice, the music, the gameplay, everything was so off, in a way a kid couldn't describe. It just wasn't fun. Sonic Colors was actually pretty well received online, but I had no way of knowing that. I was too busy digging for treasure in my backyard with my mom's good silverware. Fast forward to 2021, Sonic Colors Ultimate was coming out, and I knew that the original release was pretty well received. I was pretty excited to try it out for a second time, as I had mostly forgotten why I disliked the game, chalking it up to being bad at video games as a kid. I eventually got Sonic Colors Ultimate, and I honestly think I hated it more. It was somehow stiff feeling and too slippery to control, the dialogue was boring and unfunny, the music wasn't nearly as good as Sonic's other adventures, and I only got to maybe the end of the sweets area before I called it quits and traded it in to my local game exchange. Sorry, Miyamoto. If I had to give it a review score, it would probably be middling at a 5 to 6 out of 10. Is my review suddenly less valuable because I didn't like the game, or I didn't go with general consensus? Would my skills as a game critic be called into question? Do I need to take other people's opinion into account when I'm giving mine? People always seem to think that every reviewer thinks their opinion is objectively correct, when most reviewers don't think that. People like what they like and they dislike what they dislike. There's no harm in that. It's when anyone attempts to pass their opinion off as fact when there's a problem, and typically it's not the game reviewers doing that. Gamers have a tendency to throw hate at things they personally don't like, and that gets lumped in with genuine criticism of games, so fans start seeing any criticism as hate. Along with this, too many people online are way too concerned with what people think of their favorite games, and so this perceived hate gets taken personally, which leads to discussion about games becoming emotionally charged. I shouldn't have to walk on eggshells just to tell you that I don't like Fire Emblem games particularly. I'm sorry, they just never appealed to me. Like with anything, you're not always gonna like something that's popular and well received. You aren't attacking anyone by explaining why you dislike something or by giving it a low score. Subjectivity is the name of the game, and every review should be mostly that. It doesn't mean that objectivity isn't important, it just means that you get to your subjective opinion by lining the road with facts or observations. Things that would make people that disagree with your point sit down and think, you know, maybe this YouTube asshole has a point. However, the power of opinions works both ways. You have to approach everything like you could be wrong. The best thing you can do to validate your own thoughts and opinions of something is to give it a try. I didn't like Katamari the first time I played it, which is a cardinal sin. But my girlfriend convinced me to play it again, and I adored it. Next thing I know, I own 3 different Katamari CD soundtracks, and I bought We Love Katamari Reroll the day it came out. The music is so unique and fun, the gameplay loop is so satisfying and addicting, and the game oozes style. It's one of the most fun games I've ever played, and I never would have known if I didn't give it a fair shot. If I had stuck to my guns and kept insisting that I was right, I would have never gotten to see the king of all cosmos in all his glory. Ultimately, gamers need to open their minds. There's a reason that critics review games from genres they don't typically like. They're not only looking to validate their opinions on whatever video game or genre, but a good critic is looking for something that they do like. Take good old Wozniak for an example. He very famously made a whole video about how he doesn't like RPGs, and just recently played Fire Emblem Engage and liked it. He couldn't have done that if he didn't step out of his comfort zone and give something new a chance.
But I'm definitely far more willing to give them another shot someday. See, this is what I was saying about Xenoblade. All it takes is that one game.
So go out there, play some games, give them a fair shake, and immerse yourself in something new. Even if you end up not liking it, you can at least feel comfortable in knowing that you tried. That doesn't only make you well-versed, but well-informed. Now, of course, all that being said, you better like Katamari Damacy, or I will come to your house and kill you with a big rock. In Minecraft.
Katamari damacy.